In October's AILA Interview of the Month, Colleen Melody, Chief of the Civil Rights Unit in the Washington State Attorney General's Office, shares her experience in filing a federal lawsuit earlier this year against the Trump administration's executive order known as the travel ban. Why did your office decide to take this case on, and what was it like to litigate in the public eye?
So our civil rights team, evaluates cases always on the basis of the same criteria, which is whether there's a violation of somebody's statutory or constitutional civil rights and whether it's harming Washingtonians, the people who we represent. And so those were the same criteria that we used here. It was immediately obvious to us that there was an emergency involving folks in Washington based on all of the reporting that was happening both on the news and just people we know, lawyers who were at the airport, people who were participating in some of the protests or other emergency efforts to respond to the travel ban. And so it really wasn't, sort of difficult for us to recognize that our usual criteria were more than met. In terms of litigating in the public eye, many lawyers were in the public eye that weekend, and in that following week, there were lots of legal challenges around the country, beginning immediately. Ours was not the first that were sort of immediately bringing significant, serious constitutional litigation involving the travel ban, challenging it. And so we really benefited from being part of that community, from being in contact with other lawyers across the country who were mounting these challenges so that we could sort of keep track of the legal claims as they were developing and as the government was trying to change them by putting out different interpretations of who the travel ban did or didn't cover, who it was going to affect and when. There were a lot of shifting sands to keep track of, and so we were really grateful to be kind of tapped into some of your members and also just the larger legal community, as there really was quite a group effort.
How have you seen your role change in the last few months?
Well, in our office, we've had to spend more time than ever before dealing with the impacts to Washingtonians of sort of illegal or discriminatory federal policies. So, it's not, unfortunately, just a travel ban case that we work on, but we also work on the unlawful decision to terminate DACA, the recent transgender military ban that was announced by the president, and a number of other kind of federal level policies that have really harmful impacts for the people in Washington, including our sort of values here of inclusivity, a value on diversity. There's a lot of legal work required, unfortunately, right now, and in the last 8 months regarding that.
How can immigration lawyers coordinate with efforts like Washington State's?
Well, in terms of how to get in touch with us, our contact information is online, and you should get a hold of us if there's an issue you want to talk about. And really, that's critical because AILA members and other kind of public interest lawyers around the country have individual clients who are likely to know about and raise sort of urgent issues before we, at kind of the state level, may know about it or may have heard about it. We work to protect the people. But we don't have individual clients that may sort of alert us quickly to the particular effect of a policy, for example. And so it's really important, and we welcome kind of that partnership of kind of being alerted to, how a policy is being implemented, what the effects of it are, and sort of the negative, if negative, impacts it's having. And so AILA members should continue to work with us in that way. We want to be partners because it's an important way for us to find out what's going on.
Thanks, Colleen, for joining us.